So strap in and get ready.
The leaders in AFL SuperCoach are incoming, helping you win your leagues and climb up the rankings.
You're now listening to the Insight AFL Show with your hosts, Big Horse and Skitty.
Hello and welcome back to the Inside AFL Show. I'm your host, the SuperCoach Horse, and we've got a very special guest tonight. But before I introduce him, our main man, Hurls, is back for another session, chatting footy. How are you, my man?
Oh, I'm very good, mate. How are you?
Oh, flying. How good's it having the footy back?
That's brilliant. The Bombers started well, got pegged back a bit in the second quarter, but it's not a bad game of footy going on.
Absolutely. And with us tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is a very special guest. He is in our comments a fair bit, giving us a bit of lip for the Essendon Footy Club and how poor we are, even though if you can see on YouTube, you'll see he's sporting an Essendon shirt. If you're listening on audio, he's wearing an Essendon shirt. He's a man that was inside the top 50 for a fair bit of last year with SuperCoach. Injuries ended up stuffing him up a bit towards the back end of the year, but still finished in the top 1%. So I'm in esteemed company here tonight. Both of these lads we're doing this podcast with tonight both finished in the top 1% last year. I speak of none other than Jared, the coach of SkitzFitzz. How are you, mate?
Pretty good there, Horse. Thanks for having me, mate. And Hills.
Mate, it's awesome to have you. You're always in the comments. You love throwing around a bit of banter, you and your Richmond boys, and how they're not going to win another game for the next 15 years. And us Essendon lads. But more importantly, mate, I love the way that you think outside the box with SuperCoach. So for me, being an ex-senior footy coach and having a fair bit to do with AFL footy at a lower level for years, but then listening to especially you two guys and the way that you see things from an analytics and from a SuperCoach point of view, I find that I learn a lot from you guys as well. So I'm interested to get into your team, Jared, and listen to what yourself and Hurls have got to say about it. And hopefully the people at home can pick up a few pointers on what to do this year and hopefully can help them better their rankings as well.
Yeah, hopefully. But yeah, it is it's still a work in progress. So I'm keen to watch these practice matches this week.
Yeah, for sure. So before we get stuck in your team, mate, last year, tell us about how it started. You're inside our Unlimited League. That's how we know that you're up towards the pointy end for a fair bit of the season. And how did it end up?
So I started off, I think, 35,000, had a pretty mid-price kind of team, and then I just went pretty aggressive in the trades. Done pretty well on that first best 18, and then that got me straight into the 1K, and yeah, from there we just started to fix up the team. But yeah, I made some terrible trades. I look back on the history. It's unfortunate you can't have a look at it anymore. Yeah. But yeah, I look back, just at the end of the year, and it was just shocking. So to get so close, and to know that, I made a lot of errors. It's pretty good. So hopefully this year will be a bit better.
Few comments in the chat already, Jazz. Before we get started, mate. Who is this bum we got off the street? We want Pete. They want Nerds for Life back, mate.
His computer's still loading, isn't it?
It has. Funny should say that. We've got to ask the important questions here. Who's your internet provider?
Mine. I think it's the neighbours. I'm stealing it. Crack the password.
You live next door to Macca's?
Yeah, I actually do. It's not too far.
And Deadly's in the comments too. Piss off, Jared. He doesn't want to see you.
Come on, mate. I thought this would be a nice peace offering here, mate. I can rip it.
No, but please don't.
No,
treat it like royalty. But anyway, if you enjoy what we do, ladies and gentlemen, like, subscribe, and the bell. We call it being the triple banger. But also, if you're listening to us on audio, give us a 5-star review. It gets us out into the algorithm for other super coach-minded people to listen to what we've got to say. Yes, we love our banter, but at the same time, we treat our super coach very, very seriously. Jared, Hurls, let's get stuck into this team that is the SkitzFitzz. Harry Sheaves was a bit of a staple at D1 for most people.
Yep.
Talk to me about your D too, because I love this bloke. He's personally sponsored by Ryan from Astute Newstead, but a lot of people are fading him because of his early buy.
That that doesn't scare me off too much. I missed out on having him last year. Loved the way he went about it. He's at a good price, and he's pretty handy for a loop option round 2.
Yeah.
That's another thing that I was able to last year. Started pretty poor, made some good trades, got to the top 1K, but my loop option was Clay Hall, and I was able to dodge a few rookie scores, which kept getting me closer and closer to the top 100. So that I'm taking that little lesson from last year as well. I'm going to have a couple of Essendon players as well for the round 4, and so on.
Yeah. What are you thinking, Hurls? This is it's quite a good little top 2 defense, and then he's got one sort of mid-pricer who we both agree is probably going to play a lot of midfield minutes. You're a bit of a fan of Trent Rivers as well, mate.
Yeah, I like Rivers. I think he's especially early in the year with Viney missing, he's going to be bulk CBAs. He's gonna score well. I love the lessons there too from last year. I had the same thing. I think we all get really carried away with our premiums at this time of year, and we go, "Oh, what if we don't have this bloke, or what if we don't have that bloke?" But I'm with you. I think the biggest ground you make up is what your lowest scoring players are scoring, and so your ability to loop that you're talking about there, I think, is great. I think having a bloke on a buy isn't an issue as long as the rest of the team balances. So I don't mind the Whitfield play. I love the Rivers play. Interested to see how you've balanced the rest of the team, because you've got 3 rookies there on field. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you're doing with that cash. Many people are deciding to go pretty deep in their defences this year, and this is a bit of a different look, so I like it.
Yeah, so do I. We're just going to interrupt this team for a second, because Fox Footy have just come out saying that Sam Draper intends on signing a 6-year deal to stay at Essendon.
There you go.
What's going on here?
He's looking very trim. He's looking,
is he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wait, Sam Draper from Essendon, yeah?
Yeah.
The next premiership ruckman at Essendon. Thank you.
He was looking good, and my side, I just watched 1 quarter of Essendon, and I pretty much chopped it all up full of, I won't spoil it, but there's a couple in there, I reckon.
Yeah, right. No, I love the fact that Hurls is right. We've seen a lot of teams, like Deadly's team last night. He had Callum Mills, who unfortunately is now out until round 4 at D6. So you've always been fading him?
Yeah, I kind of had another strategy, fading, Smith, Mills, all those round. Is it round 3 buy? No.
Yep.
Yeah, it's round 3. I've got Sutherland, but he's cheap, so and he'll be the loop option on that.
Smart, man. I love the way that you're thinking with loops already. So regardless, especially with Sullivan being that round 3 option that you could just use as your loop, that ultimately gives you Sheasel, Whitfield, Rivers, Reid, Allen, O'Connell, and Trainer that you can all have a look at, have Sullivan on field, and you're effectively having 2 cracks of the cherry at getting your best score, don't you?
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Yep. We've tried to explain the way looping works, and we're going to do that again before the season starts. So I'm not so much interested in hearing how you boys go about it, but the fact that the season's still 2 weeks away and you've already planned for your loops for that round, to me, that's a lot of forecasting as to how you're structuring your side, and it's the way that we should be thinking about SuperCoach, not just picking this player, this player, this player. There's got to be more than that and the strategy behind it. So I love the way you boys think like that. Zach Reed's looked pretty good today, Hurls.
He has. I think he's going to be in transition a bit. So I was quite impressed with the sort of first quarter and a half that we saw before we jumped on here. Probably not so much defensively, but just a couple of marks as they were switching play. Ridley looked the main distributor, but he has to kick it to someone, right? And if he can get a few easy kicks and stuff like that, and he can have a safe, high job security, basement price defender sitting there, I think that's gold for us.
For sure. And we see Bo Allen there, bit of a staple in West Coast backline at the moment. they are talking him up something fierce, potentially a future captain of the West Coast Footy Club. So for him to come in early, be training the way he is, be a man of character like he is, and have the coaching staff come out and say that about the kid, to me just screams that he's got a mature head on his shoulders. He's a clean user of the ball. And I think it's a classic case of trying to outthink the room if you're not putting Bo Allen in your side, at least to start the year. Liam O'Connell. Is it Liam O'Connell?
Don't know.
Could be. And Luke Trainer on your bench. They both looked pretty... Trainer hasn't played yet. He plays tomorrow night. He's been named in the Richmond side. But O'Connell played quite well on the wing for St Kilda against Carlton the other day. So I like what you've done there. Mate, as you move through to your midfield, we're just going to play a little clip as to what our Patreon offers our subscribers and our viewers at home.
Want to take your SuperCoach game to the next level? Inside Fantasy Sports are bringing you exclusive content all year round, such as weekly expert Q&As, team, trade, and captaincy advice, statistical deep dives, priority podcast questions, and tons more. So what are you waiting for? Get full access to the experts. Go to patreon.com/Insight Fantasy Sports and subscribe to Insight Unlimited today.
Beautiful, beautiful thing. Would you like to scroll down your midfield, mate, and we'll run through that? I have a feeling that seeing some rookies in our back line, we're going to see some premium type stuff, and we already see a lot of surprises there. A couple of names that we haven't seen this year, and he's gone the Pottish route. I really like this. Do you want to start from the top, mate? No Bontempelli. We now know tonight that Zach Butters has an injury in his knee, and he's having an arthroscope, and he's going to be unavailable until potentially after round 1. So with that news, you've probably had to scramble a little bit in the last hour.
Yeah, it definitely was. I'm happy with how it is, with what I've done in the forward and my bench and stuff. There'll definitely be more playing around, but I'll jump to Shield there. Yep. Watch that first quarter. I like his role. I like his price. Oh, yeah, the price is not too bad, but you'll notice that there's no Clary, and I just want to wait. I want to see it. Even if he does all right in the practice match, happy to maybe get 2 games and then get him on the bubble if I have to.
Okay. With Shield, you're right. He has got the most touches for Essendon, the second most on the field. So Jack Bowes has 21 touches for 71 SuperCoach points at halftime. Shield has 18 touches for 46 SuperCoach points. So not too bad playing the general across the back line there, mate.
But yeah, Martin was looking really good too. I had a look at Nick Martin, but he was 566 in the defense. Yep. Well, he'll get forward status, won't he?
He'll get DPP, defender forward, if he continues that role.
F1.
That's mint. Yeah. That's the first time I've ever heard someone mention DPP for Nick Martin and potentially F1. You're right. Because you've got the likes of Jason Horne-Francis, Rankin, Dylan Moore. These are the guys that everyone's been talking about, Caleb Daniel, Jack McRae. But Nick Martin, he has the ability to average 110.
He was looking really good. If you can keep it up.
Anyway, start us off with Caleb Sarong, mate. Started off last year on fire.
Yeah, I love watching him play. He's so tough at it. A lot of my sides, every time I needed to get a quick 30K, I'd go down to Brayshaw, but it's a bit shallow of me. It's just something that I just can't do it. I have to. However my side is going to turn out, it has to have Sarong in it. And the way I see it is, if I pick Brayshaw and Sarong goes off, I'll be burning. It'll hurt. But if I pick Sarong and then Brayshaw goes off, it won't hurt as much.
Yeah, gotcha. He's an out-and-out gun. I think Sarong and Brayshaw
mentally for me, maybe it might hurt my score, but mentally for me, it won't hurt as much.
Yeah, right. Hurls with Sarong and Brayshaw, we've spoken about it a fair bit. Just guns of the Freo midfield, and both elite midfielders in the AFL.
And look, I wouldn't turn anyone off out there who's thinking about starting both of them either. To be honest, they're both Jets. They've both got good draws. So if you're tossing up and you can't decide, pick one or go both. I think it's a good play. I love though the way you've got this side structured and I think it's underrated the way you were talking about Clary. Like we all just go Clary's a lock, and most of us agree that he's in everyone's team, etc. But I think it's not a problem looking at a few blokes. So I think with the way the trades are, I mean most of us budget for 5 or 6 correction trades right in the first few weeks. So you can go with this team if Shield doesn't impress you after a week, and Clary does. It's easy to pivot, so I think it's okay to not necessarily start everyone as long as you've got your open mind to the first few rounds.
Love the way you've brought that up. Yep.
Also, will Shield playing round 0? I mean, is Essendon playing round 0?
Sure, he's round 4 bye.
So they'll get an early price rise as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then again, round 6, DPP, defender mid.
Yeah.
Talk to me about Jack Steele. This is the first time I've seen anyone's team with Jack Steele in it.
Yeah, well, this is going off this week. I had Jack Steele last year, and I loved it. He was one of my. Was he mid price? Yeah, he was in. I think he was mid price. Yeah, he was was he 500k Earls?
Yeah, around that. He was my first trade in last year.
Yeah, I had him, and then he got the knock to the knee, and I traded him out as well, and I shouldn't have done that. So he's looking really good this year, and with Jack McRae as well, that can only help.
Yeah, they're both contested ball beasts, aren't they? Especially Jack Steele loves it hard in and under, getting the ball onto the outside. I reckon Jack McRae and Steele are going to complement each other quite nicely there. McRae is more of an accumulator and Steele is more of a hard man. So the Saints have done well to grab McRae as that 1-2 punch on the inside. And then you've also got the Mexican Hugo Garcia in there as well. He looks fairly nice too, doesn't he?
Yep. Absolutely.
Jordan Dawson at less than 5% owned is your M3. I don't want to give too much away, but you and I are on the same wavelength here. They've got a nice opening to the season, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And I always feel like the 2 years that I've been playing, and I think Dawson 2 years ago, or was it 3 years ago, when he went there, with their gather round as well, it's like they have a little pep in their step and they play pretty good. The energy's good up there. The weather's good. They play well. And I like Adelaide this year with how they went with their draft.
Yeah. And the way they picked up Pete Ling and these sorts of players as well. They've got that, is it the 4-headed beast with Fogarty, Walker, Thilthorpe, Curtin potentially up forward. That could be really dangerous on any given day.
Yeah, absolutely.
To me, that screams goal assist for your ball users like Dawson kicking it inside forward 50.
Yeah, exactly. And I had Dawson last year as well. Oh, no, the year prior. But I was kicking myself when I didn't pick him up when he was a fallen primo, because he did turn it around the second half.
I've been told I can't call Hugo Garcia the Mexican anymore. He's now known as the Corona.
Nice.
Okay. Will Day, did you watch that preseason game between Hawthorn and Geelong, Hurls?
I did. It was.
He looks phenomenal, doesn't he?
Oh, he's just all class. He's again. Don't want to no spoilers here, but he's in my team. I restructured to get him in after that game. I just thought if he stays injury free, he's just too classy. He's going to be that. He'll play everywhere. Some people saying, he might play some forward time. He'll score when he's playing in the front half anyway.
Exactly.
I think he's a gun.
I love that you brought that up, Hurls. I want to ask you this. So people are getting a bit turned off Will Day because he is going forward. But one, you can't score points when you're resting on the bench. If he's resting forward, there's goal assists, there's tackles, there's goals that he could kick himself to. Is he 6'3", like 6'4"? He's quite a tall midfielder.
Yeah.
There's potentially extra points there on offer.
the way today's footy is, your midfield types that play half forward, and we just spoke about Martin a bit earlier. He's going to play very similar kind of role. They roll up to stoppages. They like it's not like he's going to sit in the goal square. He's not playing deep forward like that. He's playing half forward. It's no issue for mine.
Mm-hmm. Jared, you got anything more you want to add to that, mate?
Will Day as well. I brought him in my side when he came back from injury last year and loved every second of it.
Yeah.
So he was on the list from right from then.
Yeah, gotcha. We've already spoken about Dylan Shield. Elijah Zartis is there at your M6. He's getting a fair bit of it today. Not so much Supercoach wise, but getting his hands dirty on the inside.
Yeah. From the quarter that I seen, he wasn't in my side yesterday, and I liked what I saw. He's good size, and if he's got that role, he's in.
Yeah. As I'm speaking, mate, 16 touches for 50 Supercoach points at the moment. So we'll take that. Absolutely take that if you know that he's going to get that sort of touches. Levi Ashcroft Hurls. I want to ask you about him because Brisbane have a stacked midfield.
Yep.
He's probably good enough to score at half forward anyway.
Yeah, he's a tough one to assess. Like he didn't play the start of that. And that was a bit of a Mickey Mouse triangular game last time. So maybe we can put that one to the side anyway and see what he does next time. I think he is going to be down the pecking order from a midfield perspective. They are stacked in the middle, but he is so good that he could still score. And as the midfield rookies have just started thinning out, obviously, unfortunately, we lost Jagger and then some of the others have started to show that maybe they're not going to be as foolproof as we originally thought. He's someone that might have to come into our calculations for sure.
Tell me your thought process behind Levi Ashcroft, Jared, because he's been touted as potentially better than his brother Will.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. He hasn't been in a lot of my sides. From what I watched, even though the quality was so bad, I liked what I saw. He's a little tough nugget. He's going to be a bit of a hog and want it. He's going to want that, not to one up his brother, but he's going to want success quickly. But also, I'm keen to watch this week and Ed Allen. So I want to watch Ed Allen, and I might flip them too.
Yeah, gotcha. Cool. Mitch Nevitz looked good tonight too, Jared.
Yeah, exactly.
There's not really much you need to say there. With the way he's going tonight, I'll just grab his stats for you. He's got 12 touches and 50 Supercoach points as we're speaking. So,
and going back to the loop, just another cheap Geelong loop option on this line. So come that round, we get another 3 cracks at it.
Harvey Langford. This kid is going to be a jet. He's built like a brick shit house for a kid, but he's got a lovely left foot on him.
Yeah, exactly. And he's always been in my sides. I seen an interview with before draft night, and it was with Travalia, and they asked him, who in your opinion is the number 1 draft pick, and he said without a doubt it was Harvey Langford. So that moment, I was watching him closely and watching the draft, and was kind of hoping that we'd also get him. I wouldn't have been upset if we got him.
What are your thoughts, Hurls? He does look like he's ready to go in senior footy straight away, doesn't he?
Yeah, and I really love picking Melbourne rookies because they're going to want to play them. They showed last year they wanted to play Windsor every week, so I think they're gonna want to play Langford and Lindsay. There's sub risk with all these guys. Let's be honest. Like we're talking about kids, so they're not going to burn them out, and we have to just watch that. But I think as far as those ones that are ready to go now, he's right up in the top of that list.
Max Hall as well, playing as that small forward at St Kilda. His second and third efforts were really good against Carlton, Jared.
Yeah, he looks pretty good.
Yeah, he does. And he's got that mid-forward DPP. And then we've got Mr. Henderson down the bottom, was playing with West Coast. The next day gets picked up by Melbourne. Didn't play the other day because he just wasn't ready. flying back, having to relocate back to Melbourne. He'll play. We've heard the Melbourne coaching staff say they really love the way that he goes about it. He's clean with the ball use, and they envision him playing in that Alex Neil-Bullen role as that we call it the F7 or the floating forward. So in footy, you've got your 6 forwards and you've got your 6 mids and your wings and that sort of jazz. He'll roll up off the forward line and be that connector between the midfield and the forward line, basically being used as another on-baller. So at 99K, if he's playing that role, that's someone you're going to want in your team, ladies and gentlemen. While you go down to your rucks, mate, the SuperCoach World Cup is back. So if you think you've got what it takes at home to play NRL, AFL, BBL, and NBL at a really good level, then this is for you. The link is in the description below. Click on that. For $25 for the year, you can enter yourself in the running to be known as the best SuperCoach player in the world. Mitch, the coach of Twitch at Flinch, won it last year and won just short of $1,000 and the prize pack. And now he's known as the best SuperCoach player in the world. The inaugural, the first best SuperCoach player in the world. So if you think you've got what it takes to beat the champ and other content creators, then this is for you. All right, let's go to your rucks, mate. And the Big X Spectrum, Tristan Cherry in your rucks.
Yep. Missed out on him last year, kicking myself. Can't do it again. Love how hard he is, how hard he goes at it. And same with Nank there. Got the two tanks. I watched a good podcast. I think it was Pig Mentality and Jaden. They were talking about the 3,300 rule in SuperCoach, and those lower sides, someone's got to get the scaling up, and I think Nank's going to be that man. He had a breakout year last year as well. So as a Tiger man, I want to be on that ride until the buy at least.
Yeah. Hurls, feel free to tell me if I'm wrong or not, but if you had to pick one Richmond player, it would probably be Nank, wouldn't it? He does a bit of everything.
Nank is the only Richmond player in my team at the moment. I've got a little different strategy though, because I don't have Sherry, and my plan is Nank for 12 weeks and trade to Sherry after the bye. So that's what I'm planning for now. TDK is making me nervous now that he might be solo ruck. But I might even go Nank and TDK. Who knows? But I love Nank. I love the way he goes about it. He's going to have to protect the kids, right? He's in the middle. He's going to be the enforcer. While he's fit, he's going to score points. I think it's a good, pretty unique pick. I think he's not going to be as popular as some of the other main guys. So it's a good way to go.
No, I want to ask you this, Jared. So you've got Cherry and Nankervis, and you've got Harry Boyd as your R3. So there's a bit of chatter in the SuperCoach community about Boyd potentially being an R2 or in your flex. How do you see this playing out? Hurls and I have discussed this a bit in the past, but how do you see Boyd's scores fluctuating with Marshall in the side, and then once Marshall is fully fit?
Oh, I think Marshall's it's gonna still be a while. Is it a groin or something? It's a pretty irritating...
He's coming back from a fracture in his pelvis.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll be right for round 1 apparently.
Yeah, if Boyd starts going nuts, 120s, I'll just trade out a forward and bring in a loop option and then get him as the flex. But I'm just going to wait a few weeks and just hopefully make some money, or we keep him until he's good buy cover. But I think it's a later buys with Cherry and Nank, 12 and 13 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nankervis is currently sitting in 1% of teams at the moment.
Let's keep it that way.
Yeah, don't tell anyone.
No, that is the last time I'll bring up that he's in 1% of teams. That's 99% less than 100. All right, let's scroll down to your forward line, Jared. So we see that he's got Cherry, Nankervis, and Boyd in his ruck line, but from the top, we've got Pickles himself, Horn Francis, as your F1, potentially F2, once Nick Martin gets that DPP, if that happens, and he keeps playing forward of centre. With the Butters news, does this just solidify Horn Francis as your F1?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was just I was thinking that earlier. I was playing around a couple of weeks ago without what I could do with without Horn Francis and what I could do with that money, but with that Indigenous game, he looks so good, and now he's going to have to dominate in there.
Yeah, he's going to have to play more midfield, isn't he, Hurls?
Yeah, he is. I think if anyone's new to SuperCoach out there, copy and paste that forward line and just whack it in. That is elite. You got 5 reliable scorers, and you've got Kako or Hewitt to be your 6th. I think that is a great looking forward line in my opinion. I love it.
Talk to me about Jack Macrae. We brought him up before, Jared, about him and Jack Steele being the 1-2 combo inside for St Kilda. We've seen that Macrae's been bevoed a little bit in the past with the way that he was utilised at Western Bulldogs. Now he's at St Kilda. What do you see him coming back to average this year?
110-ish, I reckon. I watched when he first arrived. It was just a little car trip with I think it was Wilkie or something, just getting to know him. And his partner's side are all mad St Kilda fans, so it's just good vibes all around for him. He's gonna love playing. He's gonna love his footy again. I think the Saints are gonna love having him too.
Yeah, I think so. Hurls, did you see the stats from that practice match between St Kilda and Carlton that he had 34 touches?
Yeah, it's ridiculous, wasn't it? And I think, he was, people forget this, he was our best SuperCoach player not that long ago. You go back 3 years and he was number 1 in the whole comp. And
he was priced high 600s.
Yeah, and I'm not saying he's going to get back to that. We don't want to be too crazy, but I think, Jared, 110, I can easily see that and putting him in the race there for the F1 spot.
Yeah, I think you're fairly spot on there. He's still only 30 years old, lads. So he's still it feels like he's been around a lot longer than that.
It does.
Riley,
he was elite for years. I was say he was elite for years. So it's he just feels like he's older because he's just been around forever in our teams.
Tell me about Riley Sanders now and the Bevo effect, Jared.
Yeah, he got affected last year, but having a look at the injuries that's happened this preseason with, Jagger, ACL, Laylor, fracture in his jaw. Ross Lyon come out and, played Travalia just last quarter. Bevo's done that to all his prize possessions, Jamara Ugle-Hagan spent the year in the 2s. Sanders got a sniff, year in the 2s. A lot of cattle's moved on. He's got that spot. Like we said the other week, he's a Tasmanian as well. So Tassie's coming around. I'm pretty confident in this. And it was a pretty average, even though he racked it up a bit in the practice match. But when Bont, Liberatore, and it's a full squad, and he's not the second mid in there, he's gonna shine. I'm pretty confident in this pick.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen at home, if you want to ask these guys a question, put your questions in the chat. We will address them once we finish off our team reveal here. Do you think, Hurls, I'll ask you first, with the injury to Waitman, with the inability for Jamara Ugle-Hagan to stay on the park, not from an injury point of view, and some other bits and pieces that are going on the Dogs. They've got Johannesson that's done a nasty hammy as well. Do you, and not that that's going to affect the forward line, but do you see Bonds potentially spending a little bit more time up forward, which therefore, and then you've got Treloar and his Achilles and calf. Do you see Bond spending a little bit more time forward and Sanders spending more time through the midfield?
I do see Bont spending some time up there. I mean, he always does anyway. I think the matchup dependent and all that. I mean, I'm not trying to scare anyone off Bont here. He'll still play 60% plus CBAs. He's not going to go. I saw some ridiculous claims on Twitter around, will Bont play 70% forward? He's not going to go to that extent.
He's not doing that.
No, but he might go to 30% maybe, and just when they need him to push forward, he will, and that kind of stuff. And I think Sanders is going to play around the ball as much as possible. Anyway, you'll probably be there I don't know, you could say 4th/5th midfielder because Trelaw's out for an extended period. And I agree with Jared. I think that will do him good. You don't really want Sanders being their number 2. You want the bigger bodies around the ball and let him, get the receive off Bont and off Libber and these kinds of things. I think that's going to help Sanders more than anything.
For sure. Do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah,
Jared?
one other thing, and if it doesn't work out, Sanders will just go to that Oliver or the Peatling that I missed out on. But I'm keen to not do a Nick Martin and rage trade straight away. We'll see it out a little bit longer.
Speaking of Nick Martin, he's just hit 100 SuperCoach points halfway through the third.
Get him in now.
We're not going to talk about Caleb Daniel because he should be in 375,000% of teams. You have to get him in, and that's it. Like, there's nothing more that we can say to you at home to convince you to have him in, because he will average a lot of points. We've seen McKercher in that role in the past. We've seen Sheasel in that role in the past. When he's played that role at the Western Bulldogs, he's averaged well over 90, and that was with the likes of Johannesson and Daly Bale and all these sorts of guys that he's had to share the ball with. He's not really sharing it with anyone down there at the Kangaroos. In all the intra-clubs so far, he's been the ball user. In the game against Melbourne, he was the ball user. He took over 70% of the kick-outs. You've just got to get him in. The Corona, as he is now known as, Hugo Garcia. You liked him the other day against Carlton?
Yeah, I did like him the start of pre-season, but I thought maybe it was a bit too high priced. I was going more cheaper options, but after seeing that, with the DPP as well, I've seen early days of the preseason. It was just a story at St Kilda. He was just in the gym. He looked great. I'm pretty sure he smashed some time trials as well. So he was a little bit on the radar back then too. But happy with the pick.
Hurls, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah,
he's just a beast of a tackler, isn't he?
He is. He loves the contest. He loves tackling. I mean, he's a real. This is wishful thinking, perhaps on my part, but imagine Hugo Garcia plays the first 10 weeks. He goes up 150 grand to just over 400. Then Philippou comes back and takes his role, and we downgrade to Philippou, make 100K, and he goes up to 150. It just looks a great little setup for us. I hope that Rossi Lyon likes SuperCoach and does it for us. But it looks like he's got that Philippou role, and if he gets it at that price, he's going to be a beautiful F5.
Yeah. Well, there's been a few injuries of late, hasn't there? You got your Millses and Philippous and the like, that Coleman even. So there's going to be some really nice downgrade targets when they all come back round 4, 5, 6, right through to pre-buy. So, yeah, we've definitely got some plays that we can target right through that period. Isaac Kako, the excitement machine in the Essendon forward line. I like that you're repping the Essendon shirt, by the way, mate. He looks good, doesn't he? And he's playing that high half-forward role.
Yeah, he looks very exciting. He looks great. He's great for the loop option as well. That round 4. So I like having an Essendon on every single line there.
For sure. Elijah Hewitt. I'll ask you, Hells, because you're the man in the West at the moment. It came out because he played in the B team in that A versus B practice match, and he actually captained the B team, and they wanted him time in the midfield. People were worried that, oh, shit, he's in the B team, he's not going to play. It turns out that that's not the case.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too worried yet. They love him. They have huge raps. They have huge raps on Elijah Hewitt. I can't see him being in the B team when the real stuff comes around. I think we made this comment the other day. Sometimes for these kids, and he's not first year, he's been in the system for a couple. Sometimes it's good to play them. Yeah, play them on the ball and get the kilometres into the legs and all that kind of stuff in the B team. And someone had to oppose, the Harley Reeds and stuff, right? So I think he's well and truly part of their plans. I'm not panicking yet. Let's see round 1. If he's not in the team, we can make an adjustment, but I think he's going to be okay.
For sure. You got anything you want to add there, mate, before we talk about Connor Stone, Deadly's man?
No, I'm pretty confident in the Hewitt pick. Like you said, they love him down there. And he's coming back from missing out on a lot of footy. So I reckon they'll definitely give him that shot.
For sure. Would you like to just zoom out a little bit for the many people that we've got in the chat at the moment and watching on the stream to see your overall team?
We haven't seen the flex yet.
Oh, we haven't either. Let's go the flex.
Boom.
Oh, here he is. I was doing some sums and I thought it's going to be a primo. I didn't know which line it's going to be from.
So you're going the 3 ruck primo strategy.
Yeah, I've loved this preseason going with the 3-headed monster. It was Gorn, Cherry, and Nank at one stage, but
we've spoken about it in the DMs that it's a very viable way to score big points because ruckmen don't get tagged.
Yeah, and with a few primos that have stuffed up the midfield like Butters now and Bont potentially playing a bit more forward, I think I'm just going to beef up the rucks and the flex with 3.
Yep. Nice. With the injury news to Pitnet, so are you viewing this first bit of the season as a trial run that if De Koning does well, then he just stays as R1 and Pitnet doesn't come back? Or do you see Pitnet as coming back regardless and we're just going to have to deal with whatever we get between the Pitnet and TDK show?
Yeah, I think what he's done a calf.
Yeah, I'm not sure how nasty it is. Yeah.
I'm not too sure how old he is either, but he'll probably have to come back through the 2s and he'll probably do it again. So not really worried.
No. Hurls, have you got any concerns there?
No, I think I'm even loving it more because he's in flex. You can't make a mistake here, right? Like if Pitnet comes in round 3 and you don't trust De Koning anymore, you just turf him. You got your 2 ruckmen still in R1 and R2, and you turf him for somebody else that you like. Maybe Butters has come back by then and he's flying, or whoever you like. Bont might be someone you're scared of because you're fading him at the moment. Maybe you think, no, I can't go any longer without Bont, and you just go someone down and De Koning up. It's going to be a good move. So I don't see it as a huge risk, especially because you're playing 3 primo rucks.
100%. Do you want to zoom out your team, mate, so then we can all see what you've got on offer at Team SkitzFitzz this year? So from the top, I'll let you go through it, mate. Your team.
Yep, from the top. I can't see it looking at this one. I'll go back to this view, sorry. From the top, Sheasel, Whitfield, Rivers, O'Sutherland, Allen, and Reed.
Yep.
In the bench.
What I will ask before you do move down to your next rung, is there anyone that you're looking at that's not in there at the moment? Is Sam De Koning for Geelong? Is he a thought?
No, not a thought. What's his name? Roberts from the Swans. Is it Matt Roberts in the back line? He has been a big part of. I've been in my side for a long time, but I'll see if he's named this week, and if he is, I'll probably start shuffling again. Maybe Shield will go out for him. Awesome.
Move through to your midfield, mate.
In the midfield we got Sarong, Steele, Dawson, Will Day, Dylan Shield, Sardis, Levi Ashcroft, and Mitch Nevitt. On the bench, Harvey Langford, Hall, and Henderson.
Yeah. Is there anyone you're considering there in that line?
Yeah. Heaps. It's always constantly flipping. I was close to having Dacos in there. I faded him last year as well, which helped me. But it was only a close one. So luckily, Windhager tagged him nicely and he dropped his score. But he did start pretty well, and I was pretty scared. So we'll see how Dacos goes. But again, I'm not a fan of that by round 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's tough, isn't it?
Trying to beef it up. I'm trying to have as many players as I can in that round, or primos.
Yeah. Your ruck line. So Cherry and Nank, and also TDK in your flex.
Yep.
So you've gone the three-headed monster. I really like that. Hurls, you a fan of that as well?
I actually am now that I've seen it on a screen. I haven't been thinking of going that way at all myself, but I think the coding presents a really like unique opportunity here for people. So it's something to think about.
Yeah, for sure. And then Harry Boyd as the R3. You're happy just leaving him on the bench accruing cash?
Yeah, and say Pitnet comes back in, Boyd's going off, we get rid of De Koning, put Boyd there, and get in Sims or Reed from West Coast, get that loop option.
Get that going.
Get that going as well, and then get a primo in the mids or whoever's going off at the time.
For sure. Your forward line, mate?
Forward line, the horny one, McRae, the Colonel Sanders, Caleb Daniel, Garcia, and Kako, and Hewitt and Stone on the bench. Again, so we've got two lines for that round 2 loop option up there, and in the forwards and backs. So we get 2 cracks at the loop option there. Same with Essendon, all the lines there.
Yeah, gotcha. We've got over 800 people watching this stream at the moment, Jared. So pretty successful night here, and people loving the content that you're putting out to the SuperCoach audience. We're just going to go through tongue twister, a few questions here that people want to ask yourself and Hurls, mate. So from Higo, long-time fan of the show, Ripper bloke is too. Is there any worry with a fair difference between Shields' fantasy points compared to his SuperCoach points? Do you think his disposal efficiency may hurt him?
Yeah, probably. But from what I only watched a quarter, and I like the role. The way that Essendon were moving it around, he was doing these chip 30-meter kicks, running onto it, getting a receive. And if he kicks it long, 40 meters, doesn't matter, does it? It's effective.
No, it doesn't. That's right.
I think it's a fair question. If I can jump in as well on that one, I think it's a fair question because he will shank a few, and he shanked a couple tonight. But I think the way Essendon want to play is they want Ridley distributing from deep defence, and they want Shield pressing up the field, being that link in the middle. And so he's going to get a lot of inside 50s. He will even kick a goal or two every now and then. So I think it's a really interesting play. I think you might even see the gap close this year because of where he's getting the ball, rather than when he's in the middle and he's always got that 360 player around him. Here he's behind it. He might, hit a few more targets.
All of a sudden, and I'm not saying Shields a good ball user all the time, but with you bringing that up, they've got Ridley on that last line of defence. They're using Shield almost between the arcs from D50 to forward 50. And then you've got Martin from the wing inside forward 50. So they're placing ball users sporadically over the ground in order to be a better disposal efficiency side by foot. It's pretty interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. And clear intent to move the ball quicker. If you just only watched the first half before we jumped on here, they were manic with their handballs, and they were manic with moving the footy quick. And so if they're going to play that kind of style, it's going to be it's going to open things up a lot. Yeah,
for sure. Sam De Koning, we spoke about him, and you said that he hadn't crossed your mind, Jared. If he's the number one ruck, what is it going to take for you before their buys or before his price rise for you to consider him?
Oh yeah, if he's going off before his bubble, then I'll squeeze him in somehow. But yeah,
not until you see it.
Yeah, what's his name? Is it Chris Scott? I don't. Yeah, he's another Bevo as well. So, yeah, not until I see it.
You got our man Puma in the chat. Will Day and Dawson are very valid, so you're getting a lot of support in there for that.
Cheers, Puma.
O'Sullivan's only on 18 SuperCoach points at the moment. Is that worrying you at all?
Nah.
I know it's pre-season, but I guess we've got to ask the question.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not great, but the first practice match, the intercept marks that he was doing, he's explosive. He's another Travalia. Travalia is one in the back line that if he's in round one, he's straight in my side.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's worth calling out too. And when you look at that team, a lot of people get hung up on which lines are strong, which lines are weak, and these kinds of things. Reality is, all of us are going to carry 7 rookies. That's just how you have to structure. Yep. So where you choose to put them is really up to your own preference. I'll always give people a little bit of feedback when they ask me to look at their team if they've got like 9 rookies or if they've got 4 rookies. But if they've got 7 rookies on the field, where they choose to pick them, that's up to them, really. If you want to put them in the defence and others think the forward line's a better place to hide them, so be it. That's preference, right?
Very, very good sound advice. Now, we see Richmond are playing Carlton round 1. Is that another reason behind picking TDK? Or are you potentially looking at other Carlton players that could kickstart the season with a bang?
If any of them, it'd be Cripps. I've played around with having Cripps in the midfield.
No Chera?
Nah, no Chera. I think he'll break down again.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I'd be kicking myself if I picked him and he broke down. So I'm happy to just miss out on that one if he goes well, and hopefully he does go well, not break down. But yeah, with Cripps, I was very tempted if Jagger was there. I thought Jagger, would be a nice addition, kind of like Steele and McRae. Jagger knows how to get it to Cripps, and
I've received a question via text, mate, that I want to ask both of you. So they've noticed that you've got no Oliver, no Ashcroft, no Chera, none of those sort of guns around the 440 mark. Do any of them scare you, or are you pretty happy? I'll start with you, Jared, fading them in order to have the team that you have.
Not really. With Oliver, that's an easy fade because I just want to see it first, and because I've got Rivers and Langford, I'm happy to just have those two and watch them grow. But no, I'm not really. Peatling maybe, but
Peatling as well. That's another one I missed out on, 350k.
He's only 350k. He'll be gettable. Like I said, if the shield's not working or Sanders is not working, I'll make that adjustment.
Yeah. Hurls, what do you think, mate?
Again, one of those ones where there's about a pool of 10 or 12 of those 400k guys that are viable. And I think people have to choose which ones they trust the most and just have a plan. So I think what Jared said's right. If Oliver is going off in the first 2 weeks, I'm sure he'll be looking at someone like Shield or someone like Rivers and make the switch, right? You don't get too stubborn with your picks. You get a little bit creative and you move your mid-pricer to a mid-pricer that's going better. I think you can't pick all of them, and you just have to pick which ones you like. I mean, I've got Oliver and Peatling, but that doesn't mean it's right.
No, that's right. That's right. All right, they're all the questions done for tonight. Jared, this has been an absolute pleasure having you on, mate. Where can the guys at home find you?
On YouTube. That's the name. Oh, other way around. Just there. SkitzFitzz on YouTube with the double Z. Same with Twitter or X. And that's about it. I've got Instagram, but I don't really use it.
Don't ask him.
You can usually just find me in all of your guys' lives. I'll always be in there.
That's right. I feel like we're going to have you on a bit on our shows, mate, because the people at home really appreciated you being here, and the fact that you do possess a mind that is different to the norm with SuperCoach. You think of ways that other people don't, and it's led you to be successful in the past. And I feel like for the people at home, yes, we run a podcast here at Insight Fantasy Sports, but our way is not always going to be the right way. And it's important to have different views. And if you back your gut, more often than not, you are going to be right. But at the same time, Hurls has done it a specific way and been very successful in the past. You've done it another way and been successful. I probably played a little bit more safe and finished top 1% in the past before. So there's different ways that you can play SuperCoach but be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that works for me, this, like I said, last year was my second year. And just for an example, Heaney had burnt people in the past, but I'm only 2 seasons in. He never burnt me before. So I just went with my gut, and that turned out to be a great pick. Taking the information and go with who you enjoy watching and go with your gut.
100%. Where can the people find you, Hurls?
Twitter as well. So I was at X there. I keep saying Twitter. I'm old and I can't get that out of my head.
It's Twitter for everyone. Yeah.
Twitter at Silvertop Hurls. You will see me tweeting a lot about Essendon and a lot about SuperCoach. I love having you on, Jared, because anyone who can have a Richmond background and wear an
Essendon shirt,
you're all right by me.
I think you'll fit in all right.
See this background here. This is the 2019 grand final.
Yep.
And that's me. Oh, you can't see it, but in the yellow right there.
Yep.
That is me. Me on the front fence going off.
Very good.
Dusty just kicked the goal too.
Yeah, right. That would have been one of the best days of your life, no doubt.
Oh, yeah. I can't remember it, but it was.
It was just a blur.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do us for tonight. We're going to endeavour to bring you 7 team reveals in 7 nights. I'm not going to tell you who it is tomorrow night, but yes, you guessed it. They finished in the top 1% again last year, so you're not going to want to miss that. For your time, Jared, tonight, thank you very much. We're going to send you a prize pack thanks to the guys at the Standards Quiz.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate that.
Yep.
Wouldn't mind some sorry.
No, you go. Wouldn't you mind what?
Oh, some of those game day squad packs, mate. You got me addicted to them.
I guess we'll give them a shout out while we're here. We're doing game day squad this year, ladies and gentlemen. If you have not signed up, the code is IFS AUS. I repeat, IFS AUS. If you use our code, you get 3 9-player common packs, thanks to the game day squad and us, just for using the app. There's some guys that have used that code and pulled $300-$400 cards. So there's definite value in that, and it costs you nothing. You can play our leagues for free. You can play for free. You get free packs every Monday if you sign up with Insight Fantasy Sports. So it's all there and a heap more there for you at home. But for tonight, we appreciate you, Jared. Thank you very much. Hurls, you're our man here. You'll be back again later this week.
See you later in the week for sure.
Beautiful. On the horse, and we'll catch you soon. Cheers, guys.